Here is why antibiotics do not work for Lyme disease. Hi, my name is Lativa. Welcome back to Beating Lyme with Lativa, where I cover everything you need to know to get your health and life back from Lyme disease, co-infections, massive mold exposure, parasitic infections, and chronic ongoing conditions, chronic illnesses. I was able to completely get my health and life back from about 18 different running medical conditions. And I did the impossible. I did what doctors said couldn't be done, and I did what doctors couldn't do. And I was able to simplify what doctors and experts had overcomplicated. And I was able to then get my health and life back. And I know that if I've done that for myself, I was forced to become my own doctor. I know that I'm now overly qualified to help you get your health and life back. You've probably clicked on this video because you said, oh, hey, why aren't antibiotics working for Lyme? Yeah, let me check that out. I've been struggling with it myself. So, what happens with Lyme disease? And I'm a big advocate for this. I truly believe that all of the medical literature that exists about Lyme disease is wrong, old, and outdated. The testing don't work because the blood tests normally are only checking for antibodies. They're not checking for the actual DNA of Lyme disease. You need to be checking specifically for the DNA of Lyme disease and co-infections. A common blood test does not cover that. So checking for the DNA of Lyme disease and co-infections is a much more accurate way to do to check for Lyme disease. Now, the approach to Lyme disease doesn't work. It's wrong, old, and outdated. The treatment for Lyme disease is wrong, old, and outdated. They keep trying to overprescribe doxycycline when a lot of the co-infections of Lyme disease are parasitic in nature. There is not an antibiotic on the market that gets rid of parasites. Doctors and experts. Like, I'm speaking now directly the doctors because this is just common sense. I'm just straight up going to say, are you incompetent? Are you ignorant or dumb or all the above or just not paying attention? I'm speaking directly to the experts and specialists in the Lyme disease community specializing in treating Lyme patients who are giving their Lyme patients antibiotics. Because by the time that you're diagnosed with Lyme disease, you are not just dealing with Lyme disease. I've seen it time and time again. I work with individuals in this space one on one. And when you are actually, by the time you're diagnosed with proper Lyme disease and all the co-infections, you don't just have Lyme disease. You normally always have co-infections. I've never seen one really exist without the other. And not only that, you're now dealing with not just Lyme disease, but normally a laundry list of other infections that go along with it because your immune system and your terrain in your body has been compromised. You don't throw antibiotics at that, Mr. Doctor, experts, and specialists. You need your licenses revoked. It is absolutely baffling, frustrating, and like I just shake my head. I see so many specialists and experts, but yet you've never actually cured anyone, never actually lived and walked it the way I have. I know the suffering from it. And you're not actually helping people, and then your patients come back to you and they're like, it still didn't work. Oh, let me give you more antibiotics. That is the worst and last thing any Lyme patient should be having done, because with Lyme disease, your immune system is already compromised. You know what happens when you take even one round of antibiotics, let alone back to back? It is now already compromising an already compromised immune system. You don't give Lyme patients antibiotics. They do not work. And then you're further compromising their immune system, and you didn't even mention to them anything about taking probiotics, like packing up, like in large amounts, probiotics, pre and postbiotics with the antibiotics. I got a real pet peeve. I got a real pet peeve with the specialists and experts in the Lyme disease community who keep taking this cookie cutter approach that does not work, and it's making their Lyme disease patients worse. And they're not even looking into their patients' other underlying hidden infections that are not Lyme disease, that are not co-infections. And a lot of these co-infections are parasitic in nature. There's not an antibiotic on the market that has ever or will ever get rid of parasites. Babesia is an intercellular blood parasite. You know how you get rid of parasites? You do a proper parasite cleanse. Mr. Doctor experts and specialists in the Lyme disease communities continuing to throw old, outdated cookie cutter approaches that already don't work. And then you've normalized this for your patients. You're not actually helping your patients get better. You're actually making them worse and sick. I'm begging the medical industry. I'm begging the medical experts and specialists with their licenses to please reconsider your approach. You're making your patients worse. With Babesia, it is a parasitic infection, interblood cellular. And they're like, oh my God, how do we get inside the cells? It's satire at this point. It's fucking satire. And it takes someone like me to have to come up in this space and kind of check everyone. I'm like, I now have to have you all go through, like, you got to relearn, because what you've learned is wrong, old, and outdated, and it's making people worse. You're not actually helping anyone. I was able to completely get my health and life back through common